people could go to war for weeks back in the days without having the macros dialed in. But again, one, they didn't have all the toxic pollution that we have today, and secondly, it was a sprint. It was a sprint.
Right.
So right, so their body is, and it wasn't every day. So yeah, what I'm trying to tell you, man, if you do some fucking push-ups, you do 50 to 100 every day, every morning. When you hit failure, take 2 minute breaks, even 4 minute breaks, get back to it. When you do that, you're gonna see some progress for sure. 300 is not. It feels like a lot now, but I'm telling you, man, it's not. First, I do these 128 morning burpees. Have you seen that on my Instagram? I do these
Oh yes,
burpees every
totally.
morning.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds like a
That's
lot.
insane.
It
Yeah,
looks intense.
128.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't know. Uh, but why that specific number as well? Like why 128?
128 because my mentor is Wes Watson, and Wes Watson,
Mm,
if you know him, he's a
mhm.
former inmate, you call it, and in that prison world, the different gangs would have different numbers. Some gangs would have 113, and some other shit. Now I'm not subscribed to any gang, but I do believe a little bit in the number of 28 in terms of wealth. So I was like, fuck it, mine is 128, and then it's also a little bit more, than my mentors. I'm like, yeah, gotta
Oh wow.
gotta run one
You
up on him.
yeah, of course. That's you have to supersede the master.
Yeah,
You know.
try to at least. But it's but my point with that was like, when I started out doing the
Mm,
burpees, man, it felt like a fucking pilgrimage each time I had to do it every day. And yeah, sure enough, you just continue and continue and continue. All of a sudden, the body will start to find the right way of doing the exercise without you actually thinking about it. Just because it's like, I'm tired of doing it this dumb, stupid way you're doing it, because you're so not mobile and out of balance. And then at a certain point, when you've done it over and over with shitty form, all of a sudden something clicks, and it's just there to execute it the way you want. But you just gotta,
efficiency.
exactly, efficiency.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. Now I'm having a lot more confidence in myself that it's possible. All right.
Of course,
How much
Hadi.
time does it take usually? Like for you to get to the 128 burpees, how much time did that take?
Well, no, but that's the thing, man. I started out 130 burpees. What the difference was that I just did 20 at a time. 20 at
Mm,
a time with a 2 minute break, and I was fucking gasping for air. That's why I'm a big, like, I subscribe a lot to the truth about, it's not so much about the training program, it's just you sticking to it. And what I
mm,
mean is also, like, let's say you take a decision about saying 100 push-ups, just 100 push-ups. The journey for you to truly master every fucking push-up to an excellent level might be a fucking 5 year long journey. That in everything that we can put in front of us, there is like a unlimited amount of data that we can, suck out of it. You know what I mean? No Diddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mm. That's so true.
Yeah. So
They don't
just
teach you that. I never thought of it that way before too. That it's not just the workout; it's how good you do each workout, your form and technique, and the
exactly,
efficiency.
exactly.
You know, all these
People,
people at the gym just lifting weights without any form and technique. I'm like, how far are they able to go? Without true coaching.
yeah, but I no, but I mean, but there's also, I'm also a little bit like, fuck the form. I'm also a little bit like, no, because I no, because you can't be a beginner and go into an exercise and then start talking
Hmm.
about form when you barely
Hmm.
even fucking moving, motherfucker. Like, this is like, if you guys know CT Fletcher, old
No.
No,
power
who is
lifter.
he?
Okay,
Oh yes, yes, actually, I remember. Yeah. Uh
CT
huh.
Fletcher, yeah.
Totally.
But and it's so true. Like, fuck a full range of motions, man. Just move your ass off the couch. Move your ass off the fucking couch. And it's so true,
Okay.
because it's a yogic practice, and I say that a lot on my page. I think some people might think I'm fucking crazy, but I mean it sincerely, because I come from a, like, the man you see today come from a battle that I took up with my addictions, and my addictions was to cocaine and alcohol. right? And it went pretty
Yeah.
sideways.
Well,
And a
shit.
toxic, yeah, and a toxic life that was out of alignment and away from God. I don't know if you guys believe in God, but I believe in God wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I
What
do.
his face is and his features, I don't know. I'm right now. I'm trying to get through the Quran, but that's just to understand.
Hey, nice.
But that's just to understand. I'll read the Bible after and so forth. I like the theology, but my point is with this: when you train, whatever it is, if it's strenuous, it gives you going through an exercise. It it will pull you away from the stressors of everyday life, and it will bring clarity to your mind in that given moment, right after you exert yourself. And when you do that, you can feel it yourself. You are in peace with yourself also because you confronted yourself exactly where you are. If you go to spar, right, Ali,
Right.
you go to spar and you spar someone better than you. And usually there's two ways to feel about it. One, I'm a fucking, you want to shy away from the moment and say something bad about the opponent and that it wasn't fair. Just being a fucking pussy is. Or, wow, how fascinating. He got me. And now you know exactly where you are and you also get a grasp of how much more potential there is to grow. That to me, now I used to box a bit, and
Mm-hmm.
I've done some Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I think jiu-jitsu was amazing because it was so black and white. Did you get submitted or did you submit him? And that feeling of just confronting yourself exactly where you are brings peace because it takes you out of the fucking delusion. You know that feeling when you shadow box or kicks and stuff, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm a badass. It's like your
Yeah,
ego
totally.
is, yeah. And it's very and it's very normal. There's nothing to it.
Hmm.
But the cool thing I like about like the jujitsu stuff is like there's no space for that. Meaning there's no space for delusion. And all the place that we gain a lot of suffering from is just this fucking delusion we walk around with. You hear it a lot when you ask, like, why don't you work out? Oh, it's because I don't have the time, or oh, my kid, or oh, I have this injury here. And it's not their intention to go into the delusion. The delusion or the demons of delusion, wherever the fuck it is, are so powerful what they do. They make you hear your own story in your voice or this story. They fucking write it up so that when you're saying it, you really think this is me thinking this. But in actuality, I believe it's the brain. It's the organ of the brain, the ego,
Right.
which is in total. And I think that is in some ways like Satan or whatnot. It's the lower frequencies. It's the body.
I see.
It's
Uh
the
huh.
body, and that it doesn't want you to go through a strenuous workout. It wants you to stick in lower survival planes of existence. Because when you fucking work out, like your default is negative as a person. You wake up, most of us, and we're just in a fucking fog. You go through a strenuous workout, what happens? Most likely, you fucking get elevated.
Yeah, you feel
And
good
and the
every
cool
time.
thing, exactly, and the cool thing about working out is it's a yogic practice in a sense. Like when I work out my legs, I don't want to do it, but I do it. And when I go through the motion of it, it's like my awareness is increasing through also having extra attention to form and whatnot. You get what I'm saying? I don't know,
Yeah.
but I just fucking
So,
woke up. Like it's
all right.
4:15 a.m. here, so I'm just fucking ranting.
All right, let's talk about it some more. So, why is it something that's so good and feels so good, but it's also you always resent doing it? I always hear even from top level athletes that it's even hard to struggle every single day and they don't want to do it, but they still
Yeah,
do it, and it always feels good afterward.
yeah,
But the why is it? Why do people resent it so much?
yeah. I think it's because I don't know. My hypothesis is that our default is negative, and in order to gain something that's so coveted, the inner peace, you have to earn that shit. The Tibetans, some of the Tibetan monks, right, the Dalai Lama and stuff, they laugh at the notion of that you need to do physical stuff. I mean, some of them are fat as fuck and they have tits, right? But okay, but they at the same time they sit in order for them to reach their higher level of consciousness. And if I've understood correctly about their function in life, their function is to lift the ceiling of human consciousness and be
Mhm.
some type of like for all humankind. But
Mhm.
they sit and meditate hours on end. No, they don't do a fucking 10-minute session. They sit for probably days. So even there's a physical component. Yoga was literally, I don't know if you guys know this. Do you know the story of yoga and how it came about?
No, tell us.
It's
No, enlighten us.
okay. It's actually yoga is like a workout for you to sit in those long, long, long meditations.
Yeah.
That's what it's built for and designed for. To overcome the body, so you could actually sit still and do those meditations that last days or weeks or whatnot. But I think the reason why we got to overcome it always is because that has to be one of the first levels of mastery, self mastery. It's overcoming the body. The body is a great human technology, like Sadhguru says, and the mind as well. But look where it takes us if you don't hold that bitch in a fucking chokehold. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
if you don't do that, it's just wandering off. It can be a very destructive force. And that's why I think the Stoics, to me, really fucking nailed it, because for them it wasn't about being a Zen Buddhist on a mountain undisturbed. It was about being the busy merchant, emerged in the chaos of life, but from there having some type of playbook to
Hmm.
live by.
Totally.
And
Yeah,
I
I see
think,
the difference.
yeah, and I think it's Aristotle, or is it Plato, who talked about it as well. Before they had their meetings where they would have to wrestle. They would have a
Oh
ritual of
wow.
wrestling. Yeah, they would have the
Yeah.
ritual of wrestling, because they knew this concept that when we've done this, we've reached a certain level. And it also kind of makes sense that you exhaust the body of the bodily stressors of, when you see your mate, sometime you might be like, oh, fuck him, or fuck that guy,
Yeah,
or you're
totally.
thinking about your neighbor.
Hmm.
But when you go through a strenuous workout, it's like you had to put all your focus here. So now you're let loose of that. And whether it's the aliens who fucking, genetically put us together, there's something going on in our bodies with our reward systems that when we do it, we feel fucking amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, totally. It's always
It's like,
rewarding. Yeah, and you
yeah,
you
it's,
feel
it's like we're
awake.
yeah, and it's like
Yeah,
we're
and
it's like
alive.
we're it's like we're built or designed to do work
Yeah,
almost.
I do agree with that. I feel like once you start like accepting the concept of work and like having a certain work ethic, you start enjoying it, and it does provide clarity with your thinking.
Of
And I
course,
wonder if it has to do with I wonder if it has to do with like, okay, so I don't know about the aliens and the whole thing that you were talking about. That one confused me a bit. But I do agree with like the physical aspect of like
yeah,
releasing all that energy. Basically, it's
yeah,
releasing the aggression, releasing the testosterone, putting it into a place where it's needed, so
hmm,
that you can then think rationally and then
yeah,
have a peaceful mind instead of
mm,
having your mind filled with like different like the
yeah,
unbalanced hormone level that you have when you wake up.
yeah,
So I think, and I understand why why top level athletes and successful people promote doing a workout in the morning so
yeah,
that you can balance your hormone level maybe.
yeah,
And maybe I'm approaching it too much from a scientific aspect, but I feel like that sounds like that's what it does. It
yeah.
balances out your whole emotions as well.
I mean, to be frank with you, man, I see that there's a tendency to subscribe to, like, if I do this, I will feel like this. So it's much about like conditions, and I'm a little bit against it. I used to think like that, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you, sir, but I'm a little bit
No, no,
against
no.
it because it's like what it actually is. It's like it's seeking to feel a certain way for you to perform, and
Mm,
I have a distaste towards it because I'm a fucking addict, right? And I used to think like that constantly. I need these 4 lines of cocaine and some beer to fucking function on this shitty ass job that I have, right? But
yeah.
why I do this in the morning is because all of these things are aligned with an identity that I created, who is capable of doing hard shit regardless of how he feels. I made that decision from the get go because
Yeah.
I wasn't like that. It's opposite to who I was, and there's a component of it of sticking to my word. And every day when I wake up, I have four buckets that sort of say is what I base my own validation from. Do my morning workout. I have a social media formula that I follow, which is very
Hmm.
fucking simple, but that's it. That's my
Yeah.
that's my fucking that's my God's work. I preach a gospel. And then I have a little bit of reflection, and then I have some fucking what do I have? Another workout, eating a certain way, and some other shit. But my point with this is these habits are aligned with a purpose of becoming a kind of man who heals himself and heals the world and lives as an example. You see what I mean? So
Yes.
Yeah.
therefore my workouts are purpose based. They're not
Right.
based about me feeling a certain way. Of course,
Hmm.
it's also made as a mental check in to bring clarity into my life because I am a fucking asshole. I wake
Okay.
up fucking negative and shit. But when I do that, it removes the clutter, gives me that clarity, brings me that close to that guard or that source energy. I'm like, oh, okay. And then we're back. Oh, yeah, this is what we operate from. Because I'm telling you, man, now, even though I'm this deep, I still have bullshit negative thoughts. And the demons even make me feel like it's my voice. But I know
Hmm.
this is the fucking, this is the, this is the fuckery. I go into my workout, I'm back. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I might go fucking 30 minutes an hour and I'm back in the slump. Okay. Then I assess what's going on here. My workout can't help with it. Funny enough, I'm out of connection with my wife.
Hmm.
I doubled down on connection there and leaning on her and feeling love and giving love and petting my dog and we're back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
I
like
see what you're saying.
it's a
It's all in
tussle every
balance.
day. Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
but it's just it's a fucking tussle every day to just get close to God. Just be close to
All
God
right.
because then all your decisions go from there.
So you weren't like this always. You weren't like, the most perfect person close to God your whole life. Like you said, you've been in spiritually weak points. And so how did you get that spiritual intelligence, right?
Yeah.
To reach where
First
you
off,
are.
first off, man, I'm not fucking perfect, and I mean that
Hmm.
sincerely. I fucking lose my temper still. I mean, it's crazy. My wife, though she's so fucking sweet, I have no idea where she got that fucking grit from. I can be really nasty. Um, so no, the just to fucking clarify, right? And I just do this because this all this spiritual intelligence. I mean, I think I've always had a little bit of it in me. When I was 18 years old, I did ayahuasca. I brew it
Hmm.
myself. I lost my mom. I've always been able to be smart in the reflection of understanding the situations, but not always being able to apply it. I grew into a weak fuck, like a weak minded person, very condition based, could never perform unless my conditions were made or met. That means down to like I need my four lattes and a fucking Ritalin pill. I need this cocaine. I need this beer to make me feel like a certain way. Always self regulating. And I was even working out before, but it would be within this toxic mix. And I hit a wall last year where I was fired from the job that I had, and they were just trying to be like disciplinary and wanted me to come back, but it kind of shook me. And I was listening to Wes Watson, who promotes a lot of these Stoic principles, and is really like tries to speak the truth positively and don't sugarcoat it. And for a man like me, that resonated.
Hmm.
I wanted it fucking like raw and gritty like that. And took a look in the mirror and I just had lost my way. My gut was all out. My intestine, like I was so fucking bloated. I had tits standing up, and I was like, "Fuck!" And then my wife got pregnant, and I was like, is this the man that I'm gonna welcome my son as? Is he gonna end up like me? Is that what I'm gonna give him?" and that really
Mm.
clicked with me. And then I was like,
Wow.
fuck this shit. Nah, I want, and maybe people can say, well, that's very ego driven, but they can suck my dick. I was like, but I was like, no, because like fuck that.
Uh.
Because I was like, I want my son to look at me, compare me to other men, and be like, my dad is different. My dad is
Mhm.
different. And something that bothered me, and this is all respect to my dad if he sees this. Of course, I understand he tried his best, but I really recognized the big weak point for me was not being able to stick to my word. I would say I would do something, and then I didn't do it.
Mm.
And I understood that the power of, like, all power comes from sticking to your word. What is power? Power is you saying something and then shit happens. That is power. You have a thought and it crystallizes. And my power was just so fucking weak. I would say something and then change my mind on it. I still do that shit, but I still am in a practice of sticking to my word with certain things in my life that don't fucking budge, right?
Mhm.
Um, and then that just set me on a quest, man. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna fuck these drugs, fuck this alcohol, fuck this shit. Just gonna stick to this workout. I bought a Wes Watson program. So I'm gonna stick to this workout. I'm gonna fill my head with all this fucking positivity and powerful message. And this is my life. And then I just started day one. And I sat down. I even wrote out my new identity. This is who Noor is. Dump, 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 dump. And then every day waking up, I was like, this is who I am, this is who I am, this is who I am. And all my actions just aligned with that. I used to work out like fucking, man, 4 to 6 hours a day. It was totally bananas. But I would do 2 hours of weightlifting, 2 hours of cardio, and then 2 hours of some other shit,
Wow.
be in a caloric deficit. And I think when you do all this stuff, you get on like a jet stream of spiritual growth very quickly. Also because just the fact that you don't take back steps, that
Yeah.
in of itself is the biggest secret sauce. Don't take no back steps. And what do people do most of the time? 5 days good, and then 2 days of just fucking drinking and doing so much shit that's just
Mhm.
misaligned with virtuous principles. I used to do that. 4 or 5 days of training and my job. Oh, okay, I feel good about myself. And, I'm such a good boy. And then Friday hits. Let's get those 2 bags of cocaine and just fucking some hookers, like straight up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder you wake up the day after feeling depressed. No wonder. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't want to sidetrack too much, but there was a topic that you mentioned that was pretty interesting. So you mentioned you used to brew ayahuasca. I now all I know, I don't know anything about ayahuasca. All I know is it's a hallucinogen or something like that, and it's a plant.
Yeah,
So, and when I think of brewing, I think of beer. So, how the hell are you brewing ayahuasca? Like, what's that?
yeah.
What is that?
So it was just once. It was just once. It's
Okay.
a combination of three ingredients: some fucking bark, some leaves, and some other shit, and it gets real nasty. It's like a dark soup.
Oh,
And I remember describing it like that must be the taste of Earth's pussy. Like if Mother Earth had a taste, that's it. It was so muddy, like so earthy, like crazy.
yeah,
And you brew it for a couple hours, and then we drank it. Me and this friend of mine, and it just takes you on a journey. It's not like you can drink and then go party. It's not like that. Feel
no,
nauseous for 45 minutes, an hour. Then there's a puking thing that happens, which is very smart from the medicine side of things, that it makes you puke
yeah,
because now it gets all over your body, your bloodstream. And then it's just like a reflective inward path. I remember I had a fog in my mind because my mom had passed, and I didn't know what was the next step of my life. I didn't have that vision. And then I did that shit, and I think I felt the power of being extremely sober. I was so sober, so free of all thoughts that it felt like being on ecstasy. It's really crazy.
Mhm.
mm,
So that was ayahuasca, and I like ayahuasca, and then I went into mushrooms, um, a little bit, and those things I think really like change for good, but don't stick to it as a recreational thing. Stick to it as like, yo, I'm going through some things in my life. I'm trying to fucking solve shit. And then at a certain point, when you start tripping too much, that's when you fucking put them on the shelf. I believe, at least.
It's
But it's
about
not for
balance.
yeah, but it's
Yeah,
not for
everything.
everyone because I used to smoke hash, and I think if I continue, I'd have gotten like a psychosis. I really truly believe that people's DNA resonate with certain hallucinogenics and different types of compounds and stuff like that. And for me, weed is like nah.
Yeah. All right.
But I'm not
Interesting.
subscribed to any of that shit anymore. Like I
Now we're, yeah, on the good path, on the secret
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
sauce.
it's not
Learn
subscribe to
even
better
good.
each
It's
Addict.
not
day.
even good. It's not even good, Path. It's just like I don't gain no shit from any of that because I've downloaded enough data. And when you really just sit down and shut the fuck up and look at what's in front of you
Right.
in your everyday
Yeah,
life, just look at it and confront yourself. You got plenty of shit to work on. Plenty,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
plenty, and you're
I
That
agree.
plenty.
sounds good. You need
Hell
to
yeah,
stop
man.
self-reflecting, like,
Yeah,
stop reading
You know,
books and start
you
doing
get
doing
shit done, man.
actions. Yes, exactly.
exactly, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Look life in the eye, bro, and get shit done. Just go like
Exactly.
Whew.
you.
All right.
So,
Uh,
what are you subscribed to, man? Other than A2 the show, of course, like everyone
Of
else here.
course.
Come on, guys, you gotta
shall we spin the
subscribe to
wheel?
A2 the show.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What do you mean in what sense, bro?
So, wait, what?
You said what am I subscribed to?
Yeah. So, like, what are the main topics that you would say you're subscribed to and promote to others that they should subscribe to?
Okay. Um in order to change your ways, you have to change your self-image. I think that the deepest the deepest need in human psychology is to be consistent with your own self-image.
Okay.
So that means if you think that you're some type of rock star savant fuckface, you will act accordingly.
So you have
And
to
you
hold
will
yourself
drink.
accountable, you would say?
No, you have to change your self-image. You have to change your self-image. If you want to work out more, you have to sit down and write out and admit to yourself, I'm a punk. I don't stick by my word. I'm a fucking pussy, right? And I want to change. That's number one. Okay. And then number two is like, okay, well, all my weaknesses, why don't I just write out a version of me that's totally opposite? If you really close your eyes and think about yourself at a higher potential, like the 10.0 version of you, and you really be honest, does that version of you smoke? Does he drink? Like, how does he act? Does
Hmm.
he does he
Yeah.
yell at his wife? Like, you have all the answers. You have all the
Yeah.
answers. Put that down on a piece of paper and then write out that guy as in present tense. He does this, he does that, he does that, he does that. Do some type of writing exercises, even writing out your future as if it's already happened. Do that every morning for a month. And then at the same time, step into that guy. That means from day one, go out and buy some new gym clothes. Fucking facilitate this transformation.
Right.
I'm not wearing this out of fucking coincidence. I built this guy. Like, for real. I wanted to look like all those cool fucking influencer people. I was like, why they gotta why do I look like a fucking dweeb every time I go to the gym? Well, I'm not putting conscious effort into my appearances. The fuck you mean? So buy some clothes, and you know what happens? Your ego starts to like this new version. So now
Mm.
you're bypassing all the bullshit, and you're making all the things that are holding you back. You make that work for you, because now your ego and your pride and all that shit, the superiority complex, like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm this new
Wow.
person. You see what I mean?
Yeah, totally. That's
Yeah.
such it's like a costume. You like how someone puts on a firefighter costume and now they're a firefighter, Yeah,
And
exactly.
exactly,
Those are
and
the
then
gym clothes.
someone might listen to this and be like, yeah, but I'm authentic. No, you're fucking not. No, you're fucking not. Even your authentic persona is a fucking mask. We're all doing it constantly. Stop fucking fingering yourself with pity and be like, humans are so bad. No, they're not, bro. We're amazing. Just use some of those things that are usually holding you back for your advantage. You step into that motherfucker from day one. Now, everything you do that are aligned, and then I would like for you to have some habits that you put in, and it's set in stone. This is your life. I want you to be
Mm,
really fucking measurable and say, I do this. I would say do it every day. Do it every day. But you could start out and say 5 days a week. Okay. Have it very measurable. I do it 5 times a week. I do it at these times, and I do this. And this identity that I have or I'm building, he does it regardless of any acts of God. If the sky is falling, he will still do his burpees. He will still do this. He will still do that. Now, when you do that from day one, you step into it, you start to feel energized by going into all these habits. And you're literally giving yourself a positive reinforcement of this new identity from day one with action. You see what I mean?
mm, yeah,
Wow. All right.
that's
That's incredible. Yeah, exactly. You got to just change who you are, you know? And that's
true. And
but how what do you think, Said?
I was just gonna agree with the point about like humans are amazing, to be honest. It's just, they really go deep into the negative aspect of what our thoughts are, and they let that take over themselves. But Ali, continue, please.
This is,
Sorry.
and this is the fucking thing. Did you guys know that if you get shot, your brain will spend more energy and time trying to just keep itself alive, even if it's just for half a second? Did you know this?
Oh wow.
I did not know.
It's not allocating resources to fill up the fucking bullet hole. So once you start to understand this, this is an organ that's inside of you. It is not you. It is
Hmm.
not you. And the whole game with the demons and everything, why I call them demons, because I don't know what the fuck else to call them. If it's the parasites in your gut or whatever it is, I don't give a fuck. There's some entities that are trying to fucking to do their job. And whilst they're doing their job, they make you think that this is you. But it's not. I've had suicidal thoughts. I'm not suicidal. I'm a vessel in some ways, and I tuned into a fucking layer of frequency that is fucking old as time. You see what I mean? There's
Yeah.
not necessarily like I'm not, and that's why humans are not bad. Did you work out, bro? Did you work out? Did you live? Did you consciously try to move towards some virtuous fucking principles in your life? Did you?
Yeah.
Did you confront yourself? Or are you still walking around in the delusion of who you are? That's why I think martial arts and jujitsu and all these things are good for men and boys, because boys and men tend to walk in some weird fucking delusions of who they are. And they need to get smacked. You need to get smacked by a bigger dog to understand, okay, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
And then also on top of that, be when you get confronted with yourself, don't be a pussy about it. The reason why a lot of men don't want to fucking confront themselves is because they don't have the backbone to just look themselves in the eye. I've done that, and I know it's crippling that you realize who you are and what you are not. Okay, but and then you have to find peace with the things that you can't change about you. But you understand also, okay, I can change these things about me. I'm a short guy. I would like to be 6 foot. That's definitely something that if the demons fucking start talking in my head, I'll be like, yeah, man, like, yeah, we can give you some new legs. I'm like, fuck, you know. I might start considering it. I'm like, fuck, you know. But that's just how it is. But there's other areas I
Did
can
you hear?
work on.
Did you hear about that new operation about where
Yeah,
they break
yeah.
the your legs
I
and then they
follow
give
them,
you a
bro.
few
I'm
inches?
following them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I've really, I've no, but I really consider. I'm like, damn. I'm trying.
Oh man, but
It's an ongoing thing, but I'm like, bro, like, I'm like, that's the
but the
last.
what?
Also, like, this, like, oh, sorry, it's like the last thing that people can't tell me like what I can do or what I can't accomplish. They'll always be like, yeah, you might be this and that, but you're still short, and then I'll just show up. I'll be like, what? What? What'd you say? You're 6'11" or something. Shit.
Mhm.
But it's so bad because like your mobility gets really affected, and even with all the rehab, I don't think your legs are ever the same again. Because I
Oh,
was
okay,
watching this one guy who did it, and he's like, he grew 4 inches,
nice,
and he wants to do it again to go another
nice.
4 inches, and
Oh my god.
where like your legs are gonna be twigs, bro. Like, what is that? And I was
I don't
watching
know.
him after at six
Yeah,
months after the operation. He was like showing a video of him walking again,
yeah.
and it's not. It's like he looks like he's walking sideways. Like his
Yeah,
legs are going like this.
of course. I think there's a lot of like rehabilitation. But I actually met a guy who did it, like a rich guy who did it, and he
Yeah.
said, yeah, in the beginning, it's a little bit different to sit. Yeah, and I know what you mean. I've also thought about that. And it's like, if you alter the body, do you also fuck with your chakra centers? But you know what, bro? Fuck all that. Like, I because that's such a limited way of thinking about things. And if you really are about that mind over matter shit, it won't fucking matter. And then on top of
Mm.
that, I think if I went through that program, pro, I would go heavy on gear, bro. I would inject stem cells every day, growth hormone, all the like. Give me the full package, the full premium package of all the steroids you could find for me. I would give my body all the help that it would need, all the help. I would eat
put some
bison
put some
meat raw.
nanotechnology, bro.
Yeah,
Nanotechnology
yeah, hundred
inside your body.
percent, man.
Just go for it.
If you gotta do that shit, you better do it all the way. And I would also add in yoga. I would, I probably if I went through that, I would crush that program. We're like,
Mhm.
he healed in 2 weeks. Just be back doing burpees.
That's the
You're the
goal, but
sickest.
taller.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. That's the way to do it.
yeah.
All right. Well,
Oh my
should
god.
we take it to the wheel side?
Let's go. Go for the wheel. And
You want to
this is
introduce
the
it?
time to let people know as well that if you're not subscribed to A to the show, then you're not working out, bro. Because that's the quote of today. Are you working out?
All right.
And the
So,
wheel, King Hermes, basically, as
yes.
Ali is spinning it, it's basically this is our, you know, new creation. We have a few animals, lizards, pets, whatever you want to call them. They're our demons, I guess. We use them to facilitate our question making. And Ali now is gonna come up with a banger of a question.
All
What's
right.
the
Let me
pet? What's
give
the
it
animal we
one
got,
big
bro?
spin. Let's see what we got here. We got the lion. Freaking Hermes.
We got the
Let's see
lion.
what we got here.
Perfect. Just for the king, man, you know? There
Let's
you
Got the
go.
talk
lion.
Look, he
about.
even has a tattoo. Bro, he has a tattoo of it.
What are the odds? There you
Fucking
go.
A, brother.
Roar.
And my son, who's gonna be born in a couple of months, he's gonna be a Leo.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh my
And
god. It's
and
just the words
all
are
my toxic exes, all the relationships that went most sour and I learned most from were all Leo. So that's fascinating.
Oh my god.
the worlds are aligning. Let's go. Bro,
All right. So
Venus
lion.
is colliding
Yes.
with the sun.
Um, Line category is about personal development. So,
Okay.
what things do you
Wow.
do outside of taking care of your body and your mind and such that you do to personally develop yourselves and your skills, hobbies, etc.? Like, how you're trying to, what are you trying to do that we don't necessarily see?
Okay.
No.
Oh, what do I do? You don't see. I think the work with my wife, I think that is one of the biggest sources of like next level shit.
What do
I
you mean
think
by work? Like,
work, I mean work, I mean emotional work or
mm-hmm,
emotional, and it's not about me going all soft and be like, all that shit. But it's like learning how to lead my wife. I'm very like, we have a very like, I think some would say conservative relationship. Like I'm a man, she's a woman, but I also realize that the way that I can say things sometimes can be a little fucking hard. Like I'm a fucking
mm-hmm,
drill sergeant, right?
mm-hmm,
So, but finding the power of her and the source of like when you lead your woman good, and also you picked out a good woman, it's like a fucking loop of power that she's giving to you, of that feminine energy, and understanding. Because I'm sort of new in this business, building this business, and going into this unknown. I used our baby savings to build my business, but really walking with faith, getting like I've alleviated so much fear recently because I'm just like, nah, if I just do this and I serve the world, and I'm serving the world before thinking serving of my family. I think about serving the world, my family will be taken care of. This is what my mentor told me, and he makes around $2 million a month. And
oh, wow.
lo and behold, it's fucking true. Every time I feel bad and I'm not enjoying the moment, I then learn from him, go focus on her. Go spoil her. Even though the money is not, it's not rational to do it, go spoil her. Go make her feel good. And like yesterday, I was feeling sluggish and whatnot. And I was like, fuck all this. Fuck all this that I got planned out. I'm gonna do my non-negotiables fine, but fuck all this. I'm gonna connect with my wife. Did that and felt great in an instant. Just because I got back to connecting and back to understanding I don't need much. I need my woman, my macros, my dog would be great, a little bit of water. I'm straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I used to be very and you because your mind goes into like, oh, I want to make 100K a month, I want to do this, that, and all of a sudden what's happening is just get further and further away from the source, further and further away. That's why you feel bad. You feel bad because you're away, you're not aligned, you're disconnected. So that's, I think, is the
Hmm.
work that people may not see that much, is what I try to do, and then just follow the call from within very naturally. Like my vices first was alcohol and drugs. I still watch porn sometimes when I need to unwind. My body is really up and I need to rest and it's hard for me to sleep. Fucking wank, you know?
Hmm.
And I didn't do
Let it
and
out the system.
Yeah.
I didn't do
Exactly.
much,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I didn't do much, to be honest. I didn't do much of it. I didn't do much of it. But then now I've started to get clients that really have a problem with it. And then I understand,
Hmm.
okay, I got to put this on the shelf. I can't teach a motherfucker what I'm not practicing myself.
Oh
That's also
wow.
what I built my business on. I don't I only preach what I know. I don't have all the answers. I just preach what I know, what
Right.
worked for
Your
me.
Yeah.
experience. Hmm.
Exactly. That's the only thing I can pass on. But the beautiful thing is when you start following the call from within more and more, you will start to see how things will just feel more and more disgusting. Like I was thinking about rubbing one off like last night, but I was like, nah. Like you get you elevate to such a point where certain actions that you didn't put much thought into, it's like, ugh, because it misaligns with your energy. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Misaligns
Yeah.
with your energy. Even the thought of other women, I know too, a lot of you guys be like, well, you have been with this woman and whatnot, or you shouldn't even. Yeah, but I'm not like you guys. I, from the get go, told my wife, what's up. I told her if I want to smash some hoes, I'll fucking do it. Like, for real.
Hmm.
And I've been in my truth and I've stand in my truth. And she respects me for that. But now I'm starting to feel different about certain things. Just because I feel the alignment and I understand, I saw this fucking powerful reel yesterday with this Christian pastor talking about relationship. And I've always been like, multiple wives is the way to go. But
Hmm.
what he talks about is like in the way Jesus talked about committing to one person and anything else is adultery. And how people, when they heard this, said, well, then it might be better not to get married. And then Jesus says, yeah, something like that. But when you really think about, wow, if you commit and devote to one person, not only bodily, but mentally, spiritually, that's really some fucking heavy shit. And you don't, even when you have your partner, you might say, well, this is my partner. But you don't really, do you really take it that deep? Do you really go that deep? And really thinking all my thoughts, my life is really aligned with this person and there's no way out. This is till death, like for real. Not just say it and then go fucking get a divorce at some point, but really fucking mean it. You know what I mean? Or am I
Hmm.
just fucking
Yeah.
No, no, no. That's so true, and people don't really talk about this that much. Where people usually talk about free love and just dating and forever or such. But yeah, like what you're talking about, a soulmate or a partner. I mean, how did you do that? Because like you said, like you were a bit more polygamous with different people, but now you're more like going back to no. Well, like what lesson did you learn that made you
Yeah, but I
appreciate?
think it's something I see in the scene with a lot of successful entrepreneurs and also
Uh
Wes
huh.
Watson, my mentor, and I'll keep referring to him because he's a G. But he says like, I mean, when you the and this might sound fucked up, but it's also for the sake of the call and serving the world, and which the business is. It's when you step out of alignment, you feel your energy is all fucked up. My sales, everything, my business comes from alignment. It comes from alignment.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't do sales technique. I just fucking put it on a motherfucker. and either he's spiritually slowly maturely at a point where he's so fucking tired of his own bullshit that he'll be like, yeah, man, you're fucking speaking the truth, or he's not there yet and he'll be like, I'm not ready for it right now, I'd appreciate it if you stop, like, you know. but
Yeah.
and they're not even come to the terms that, like, you're not showing up for your son, man. You have tits, right? You have tits as a man, and you look fucking weak. It doesn't matter about how much money you have. If you're weak on this area, you're in deficiency. Um, so yeah, and then I don't know. It's just I can just sense it. I feel it more and more and more. And it's funny how, like, of course, before it was like my right to this temptation. It's my right to have these desires. And then now it's like, yeah, of course, a fucking woman or a hoe or a nymph, which they usually are, they are like a drug. They look very, they've looked very desirable and whatnot, but in actuality, when you really feel alignment, purpose, and you feel as good as I feel, just with laying next to your woman and your dog, and you understand you have everything that you could ever dream of,
Mhm.
you start things start to pale in reference to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you feel
Yeah.
sick with anything else because it's out of alignment.
Yeah.
It's
Do
like,
you can
yeah,
you guys? I would like to know a little bit about you guys, if you don't mind. Like,
yeah,
what is your
Yeah, of
life
no, for
like?
course.
sure.
Both of you,
Um,
Ali and
Ali,
Saeed.
if you want to go first.
about what? What's the question again?
What's your life like? What do you do? You have a wife? Do you have kids?
Oh
What's going
no,
on?
sounds good. No, I have a girlfriend that I live with, and yeah, like I have a great sense of partnership with her, and um, yeah, like I said, one of the true superpowers I feel like now that I'm committed to her, and she really encourages me to do this and my other hobbies, and I feel very focused on every on my creative aspects a lot more, and trying to work out and trying to improve myself way more than before. Before, when I was single, I was always, either chasing women or thinking about women, or or like, how am I going to get a girl, or
Mm,
sad about a girl,
yeah.
or excited about, just like,
Yeah.
and just like wherever the wind goes, you know what I mean? But no, nowadays I'm like, that's all out of my head, and I'm just like, oh, I I have my partner, and I have, my life that I'm trying to build. So I definitely found, um like, I understand that some people, find freedom in polygamy, and still being able to chase and the thrill and
Yeah.
such, but you know I find different ways to have thrill in my relationship, and doing
Mm,
different new things. um and yeah, filtering out all those other thoughts, and focusing on, um you know my personal growth. That's just my point
Yeah.
of
For
view on
me,
it.
yeah, that's really good. I agree with Ali a lot. I mean, I can relate to both of you guys, and so I really believe in like the power of manifestation, where
yeah.
sorry, the law of attraction, not manifestation. Yeah, the law of attraction, where because I started off trying to create a balanced life for myself. Like, for example,
Mm,
you were saying how you developed this character that you try to become. And for me, I just wanted balance in my life, just like, you know, equalizing. Because, like, I was at polar extremes, I would say, with my ups and downs. And I wanted it to be a bit more structured. And
okay.
over time, as I did that, I eventually attracted a partner that I recently got into a relationship with, who has been also like really helpful with keeping that balance in my life, keeping that structure. She's just great, very smart, very friendly, very supportive. Um, my eating has become better because of her.
Mm,
Like, she teaches me things I don't know about. I teach her things she doesn't know about. It's and like on the emotional like education that you receive from your partner, like you were talking about, I'm completely on board with that. I do really believe that women are smarter than men in multiple areas, and they can teach us a lot, especially when it comes to like the emotional part of our how we interact with others, how we react. Like, the level of empathy that they can teach men is really powerful, because when men have that level of empathy with the energy that they have, because like men just have that, it's like they have that drive and that like energy where they just want to keep going, but couple it with the emotional intelligence that women have. I feel like it causes this sort of balance that propels you to become a much better version of yourself.
Mm.
So I think that's where I am at with with how my life is going and with my partner. So yeah, I
But
guess.
I want to say something. I don't believe that women are smarter than men. I think women are fucking dumb. Let me just be straight up. I think women are absolutely fucking dumb. I don't buy into that notion that women are smarter than men. My woman wouldn't be with me unless I was fucking smarter than her and I was more capable than her in all areas of life. She's fucking dumb at some things.
Mm.
She thinks dumb. Well, I think women are flowers, real flowers. I think they're real life flowers, and there's and with that, with their present. I think your women. I said Guru said something so boss, and I think that's my goal with my woman now. I want my woman to get to a point where she just sits all day and sings, and write poetry, and do all sorts of sissy gay shit. Because that's in essence.
That's incredible.
That's really in their essence. That's what they give you.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
they gift you with their present, and in order for you to have their
Yeah. Yeah.
present, you have to be a man that's worthy of leading that present.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree with that, because like you have to provide them with the feeling of comfort. They have to feel comfortable to be the real version of themselves as women, and
Yeah, because
a
otherwise,
man has to be able to provide that to
if
the
they're
feeling.
smarter if they're smarter than you, they're gonna start resenting you because now they don't feel safe because they're like, this motherfucker. I'm smarter than him, but I gotta tell this motherfucker everything. Fuck. That's then they don't feel then they don't feel feminine. What happens? They'll start to have very masculine traits. I've seen this fucking firsthand, and it's not even
Mhm.
the woman's intention. She'll just start fucking bullying the man, just putting him under his fucking foot. She become like a fucking butch straight up
Right.
because the
Mm.
man is not he's not taking leadership. He's not using himself.
And
He's
no
like,
one's
oh
happy.
yeah.
No one's happy in that situation unless that's
I
their
mean,
thing.
yeah,
You
that's
know.
their
So.
thing. And the guy probably had a mom that was like that, and now he's fucking just he's repeating the cycle.
Yeah.
Fucking
Mm.
pussy.
Like, that's not my thing. That's for sure. Dude.
No, that's
Yeah.
not my thing either. To me,
Yeah.
I don't like it. I have a distaste towards, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's supposed to be space for that, but at the same time, I
Yeah.
can't help. But
I
then
don't know.
that same woman I have seen come to me and say like, you know, or maybe be like, I've seen that woman, that character of a woman. I've seen that so many times where they yearn. You can sense they yearn for someone to bring them peace by telling that
Mm.
it's almost like, I know it's exaggerated, but shut the fuck up and stay in the kitchen, straight up, like fucking, because
Yeah.
it gives them peace because they're not meant to think like we do. They're not.
It's a partnership. Yes,
It's
each
a
one has different responsibility and roles. You
Yeah,
can't
but
overlap.
well, isn't it funny that when you fucking Viking fuck your woman, right? And when you do that, she becomes the most flowery, beautiful little girl. She
Hmm.
becomes she becomes something entirely different.
I think I agree with that point, and
And
it
that's
has to
because
do
you're
with
giving
like
her space to be a woman. That's why I saw this guy talking about cheating, why women cheat, and say the biggest reason that came up was that my man was not making me feel like a woman.
Mm.
What the fuck? And when you start thinking about it, you like
yeah.
your woman because she make you feel like a man. My woman come in and talk to me in certain ways. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, that's right, baby. I'll be like, yeah, because she gives me that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right.
I think
And
when it comes to that, it has to do with like the power of being vulnerable as well. Like that's something that women are better at than men. Like just being vulnerable.
But
Hence
you
why
but you
they
subscribe to the thought that you as a man should be vulnerable in front of your woman?
in certain topics, certain fields,
Like
probably
what?
yes.
Like what?
I
It's a
would
good
say
question.
on an emotional level, like
Yeah,
maybe
but like with
past,
what?
like maybe traumas that I've had in the past,
Mm,
things that
yeah,
I can trust her with, and not someone
Hmm.
I
else, so that I
I
don't
don't do that
publicly
shit.
share with anyone else.
I don't do that shit.
She's
I
not
don't
a
do that.
therapist, man. She's not your freaking psychotherapist for you to
Yeah,
freaking
exactly.
vent
There's
to her
And
your traumas
I'm
and
really
there's
whatever.
I'm really against it because here's check this out because I mean yesterday for instance I told my woman like I'm having these depressive thoughts like I'm having this funk but immediately I'm like but I ain't no bitch I fucking sort this shit out you know and I did right in front of her
Yes.
just to make her know
Mhm.
like this is how fucking gangster I am people
Yes.
and I flex in front of her I say people they whine about this for 4 months and
Ah.
it takes them off for years your man fucking solved this in a fucking afternoon you know what I mean I solved this shit on a fucking afternoon. That might be the extent that I'll be vulnerable, but because I've tried this in the past, where your intention is that you're trying to establish connection, but what ends up happening is that you look weak in her eyes. I'm
Hmm,
not
Yeah.
saying that I can't be vulnerable in the sense of like I can say to my woman like, man, I feel fucking fucked, but at the end of the day, who's gonna fix it?
Yes,
I
exactly.
am.
who's gonna
I'm
lift the
gonna.
boats?
Yeah,
Who's
Who's
gonna
gonna
exactly.
carry the
fucking carry the
boats?
boats, huh?
But who
Yeah.
is? But who
Who's
is?
gonna?
No, for real, who is? Is your woman gonna fix your slump?
No.
No, bro.
No.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
so what's the point even?
Mm,
That's why I also told her like in some senses like you just gotta shut the fuck up sometimes about things because you're not gonna be able to provide a solution to it.
Hmm.
I carry the stress. I carry the
Hmm.
anxiety. If I start unloading on you every day, you'll get fucking you lose your mind.
Twice as stressed. Yes, exactly,
Yeah,
for sure.
and the thing you provide, baby, is the peace.
Yes.
Whom I bring you the kingdom, but I don't know how to maintain it. You know how to maintain it. You know how to breathe life into things. I will do my
yeah.
best to give us the best things that life has to offer, but you're the one who breathes life into it. So why the fuck do I need to disturb your process in it? If you start fucking worrying about the same thing that I worry about, no. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Wow. Said, what do you think? What have you learned? I hope you
I'm
took
gonna
that
go.
in.
I'm gonna go lift some boats, bro. I'm gonna go do a workout right now.
Go fucking lift some boats,
That's.
man. Go lift some boats.
Oh man, that was, to be honest, that was very great. Like I came in with a lot of energy, listening to this, gaining all this information and insight. But King Hermes, man, is just on top of it. He just blew us out of the waters with his energy and all of this knowledge that you're sharing with us. Thank you again for being on the podcast, man. And
Oh man,
where
I
can
had a
people
great time,
find
man.
you? How can people connect with you? And
Yep. King Ermis underscore fit on IG. It's that fucking simple. There's
yeah,
plenty of content for you guys out there if you need someone to tell you what's up or DM me. Yeah, that's it.
awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming onto the show, guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you again for watching. Salute to cover the camera. Peace.